Sups up everyone. Now that we've had some time to enjoy patch 2.6, I believe to some, the honeymoon phase is quickly fading off, and today we're going to talk about whether or not patch 2.6 is almost at the pinnacle of a Genshin Impact patch. Alright, I know that's a mouthful. I know you guys are probably raising one eyebrow. I know some of you are squinting your eyes and others are tensing up as I am talking about this. But I just want to let you guys know, so far for me, patch 2.6, yeah, there's a honeymoon phase. Let's admit it, right? You get that adrenaline pumping when you pull for the characters, if you are pulling for any characters, or if it's for the Archon quest finally coming back after what seems to be an eternity. Whatever your heart desire, with the exception to a couple of things, patch 2.6 has seemingly delivered to a certain degree. Now, I'm not going to speak to the quality and standards of what Hoyoverse is trying to deliver us here, but let's be quite honest here. There is quite a lot to do in patch 2.6, and depending on what you prioritize as content for the game, you may or may not be playing for hours on end in Genshin Impact for the next little while. So with all that said, name's Walrus. If this is your first time here, consider dropping a like, subscribing if you think it's worth it, or don't. All right, no one's forcing you to do this, but I do urge you to keep an open mind whenever we talk about this stuff, because you know, it's Genshin Impact. The community definitely has a mind of its own, and I'm just one person out of many. So when I say I thoroughly enjoy what patch 2.6 has to offer, I do want to let you know 2.5 was somewhat bearable for me. 2.4 is relatively a slower patch, and in my opinion worse than 2.5, but now 2.6 seems to be among my probably top 5 patches we've had, mainly because we've gotten Chasm, we've got a new artifact domain to farm. Now granted, yeah, you guys will be like, oh, what's the point of having a new artifact domain to farm if you don't have— I get it. All right, I understand that this content is not for everybody. However, personally for myself, I find that we can tick off a lot of the boxes for what players could demand of Hoyoverse for what is currently existing within the game. Now note how I said that. I know people are going to say, well, Walrus, it would be amazing if they added like Spiral Base 13, co-ops, however it is, where I raid boss, guild function. Of course, you know, that would be freaking fantastic. You know what else would be awesome is if I got 1,000,000 Primo Gems, you know, but we're talking about what's currently existing within the game. With the current scope of what Hoyoverse has previously delivered, Genshin Impact 2.6 delivered, I would say, around like 80-90% of what they could, with exceptions, as I said previously, to certain teapot feature updates, another 5-star character on top of Ayato, and beyond that, we'll be dropping Dendro and Sumeru, right? At this point, and Dendro is a bonus on top of that because they've never released a new element, and other minor additions such as a new world boss, weekly boss would be amazing as well. But currently, what we have is plentiful enough, I would say, for a patch that is supposed to ramp up as we get closer to Sumeru. Remember, if this is a roller coaster ride, this is not supposed to be the summit. We're not supposed to be at the top just yet. Sumeru has to blow us away. What's the point of giving us everything before their magnum opus for the year, which of course has to be Sumeru? So a question I want to pose is whether or not 2.6 should be the golden standard going forward. Can you enjoy 6 weeks worth of content with 2.6? Well, my guess would be no, right? Give it another week at most. People, even if they're busy with their lives, would have cleared or finished most of what 2.6 has to offer. And that's fine, right? Which leaves almost a month for us to once again chill, relax, and go about our day with more repetitive tasks. And in a way, that's good for us to prepare for what's coming in Sumeru. We currently have no idea what Dendro could do, so saving up on resin, saving up and stocking up on resources is never a bad thing. Right? Content is designed for people who don't have all the time in the world to play this game, right? Hoyoverse is catering to the masses, which means mobile storage will be the limitation for what we get content-wise per patch, and busy people with busy schedules will be the limitation for how many hours of content is designed for each patch. They just can't design Genshin Impact to be a game where it requires you to play an hour to 2 every single day. Because most people, myself included, just don't have that kind of time to spend into this game. Say it how you want, but Hoyoverse will always cater to the lowest common denominator as a way to not bleed out dedicated players, right? This patch so far is relatively hardcore in my standards when it comes to content to keep up with. New characters and new character quests, new archon quests, new domain, new area, new abyss update, and of course all the events. Now if you don't have Zhao, Ayato, or Yoimiya, the new domain isn't too useful for you. I mean, even if you did have them, I'd argue that you really need to farm the new domain, but it's something that's offered to you and now will always be permanently available within the game, right? If you don't care about the lore, then the new character quests and archon quests are off the table. On top of that, if you don't care for exploration, then Chasm doesn't matter either, right? And with that, just leaves abyss and events, which depending on whether you want to exchange a couple of hours for some primo gems or not, could be considered negligible as well. My point here is everything is here, but unless you actually enjoy partaking in all of this content, you may or may not find 2.6 to be a bit barren and is much like previous patches and considered slow. But then I would argue, if you don't enjoy what 2.6 has to offer, would you enjoy what Sumeru has to offer? Would you enjoy what Dendro patch has to offer? And finally, the question would then be, is this Genshin's problem or yours? Now, okay, I'm not trying to start a fight here, but I'm just saying, it's not like Genshin decided that they are going to be releasing this type of content out of nowhere. I'm interested to see how many people enjoy what's currently offered. Comment down below. Are you enjoying patch 2.6 as of now? Are you partaking in the content? I'm not going to say everything, but are you finding yourself fulfilled to a certain degree? Would you wish that every patch going forward would resemble 2.6 in some way? That's going back to the question I was asking earlier. Should 2.6 be the golden standard going forward? Is there going to come a day where at the very least a new area is released every patch? Now with Economia, we had multiple patches where they tied the contents of the patch to the area. Granted, it's not an insanely big zone, but I think they took what was successful with Dragonspine and then they developed that more with Economia. So in patch 2.7, maybe expect more content to do with Chasm. In fact, probably expect Chasm to be the biggest thing content-wise until Sumeru comes out, which in my honest opinion wouldn't be too far away. I think Sumeru is coming out 2.8, right? I feel like that's when they're going to release Sumeru. And with 2.6, I feel rejuvenized. I feel content. I'm not blown away by it. I'm not sitting here saying like, oh my god, this is the best thing that's ever happened to Genshin. No, of course not. I know it's nothing groundbreaking, but it's comfort, people. And I've missed a patch where so much content has been offered for the players to enjoy. And with that said, concludes this video. I hope you guys are having fun in 2.6 because it would really pain me to see more people leave the game for reasons that I want to say is not the game's fault, right? You knew what you were getting yourself into when you came into this game. Nothing essentially was promised beyond what is currently offered. Now, does that mean that nothing can improve? Of course not. And I also think that Hoyoverse is working to improve the game towards a direction where more people can enjoy the game in more ways. Now comment down below what you think, and until next time, I urge you all to stay safe and peace.